Welcome back. In this lesson, we will get an overview of multi-factor authentication and why you should enable it. We will also set it up on your account in order to better protect your AWS environment. So, what is multi-factor authentication, or better known as MFA? Well, like the name implies, it takes more than one factor to fully authenticate to an account. But what are these factors? Well, they are something you know, like a username and password, something you have, like your phone, and something you are, like using your fingerprint or Face ID for unlocking your device. Now, why should you enable MFA anywhere you can, especially in your AWS environment? It is not only an AWS best practice, but it adds an extra layer of security to your AWS account. This can better protect you from getting your account hacked and potentially some hacker mining Bitcoin on your AWS environment and racking up a major bill at the end of the month. Now, this is not meant to be funny, but it has happened several times to different people. To reduce the chances of this happening, please enable MFA. Now, before we move on to the lab, I wanted to quickly show you some of the physical devices that we can use for MFA. We have the most common but least recommended, which is the one-time passcode or secure code text message. The reason it's not recommended is because there have been cases where these text messages can be intercepted. To avoid having to buy any hardware and the possibility of your text message being intercepted, we also have the two-factor authentication applications like Google Authenticator and 2FAST Auth. I use both, but my personal preference is the 2FAST Auth application. We can also use something like YubiKeys to authenticate. It is a hardware token that verifies your identity to a service or application like AWS. The SurePass ID and the RSA Secure ID key do the same thing as your MFA application, but they are hardware-based and some may argue they are harder to get to. Enough talk about MFA. Let's go ahead and enable it on our account. Before we start this lab, I want to quickly mention that you should have the application already installed and ready to go. Let's start by going to IAM, and since I have recently visited IAM, for me it will be seen under this tab. In the IAM console, we will click on the Users tab. We will then click on the user account we would like to activate MFA on. Then we will click on the Security Credentials tab. In this tab right next to Assigned MFA Device, you can see currently it states Not Assigned because we don't have a hardware or virtual MFA device activated. We will click on the Manage option. It should now display three options: the virtual MFA device, which is the option we will be using for this lab; the UTF security key, this is the option to select if you have a hardware device like a YubiKey; and then we have the other for the token device. We can leave the virtual MFA device option selected and click on Continue. As you can see, we have a white box, but once we select the Show QR Code option, it will display a QR code for us to scan with our MFA application. We will use the camera within the application and we will scan the code. We will enter the first MFA code and then wait for the second code to display and then enter it here. After we have entered both MFA codes, we will click on Assign MFA. We should now get a success notification letting us know that the assignment of the virtual MFA device was successful. But I want to go ahead and test that we can use this MFA code to log in. So I will open up a new tab with my console sign-in URL, and we will enter our username and password and then click on Sign In. This will take us to a new page and prompt us to enter the current MFA code that displays within our application. We will go ahead and click Submit. We are back in the AWS Management Console. pretty awesome, right? I mean, we are literally stopping hackers from getting into our AWS account because we have enabled MFA. Look at you. You're already becoming a master of the cloud. I hope in this video, you learned more about security in the cloud and the reasons you should enable MFA on your AWS account, and how to avoid an expensive Bitcoin mining bill at the end of the month. I'll see you in the next video.